This is Johnston and CIS 140 installing Windows. So I'm just creating a new virtual machine here, and I'm going to give at least 2 gigs of memory. I'll make sure it can connect to our virtual network, and we'll need 40 gigs for its space. And I'll install an operating system later. So I'm basically setting up our hardware to basically make this work. And there's our Windows 7 install right there. Just need to go to settings, and I'm basically going to be putting the CD in right now. This is basically our CD. It's an ISO file. And I'm just going to go ahead and boot it into that CD. I loaded the wrong image, so I loaded our server image instead of Windows 7. So here's our Windows 7 image. Alright, then you go ahead and click Next. Install now. Accept the license. Go to Custom. And since there's only the 40 gigs there, click Next. And just let it do its work. So it reboots, and now it's getting us ready to get into the initial setup of Windows. Right after this next step here. Alright, now we got to put a username in here, so whatever we want to put in there. And we can put a password in here if you want now. If you put a password in right now, then you have to give a hint. If you put the password in later, then you don't have to put a hint in there. And then we're going to skip the product key for now. I usually use recommended settings. Put our time zone in here, which it's 10 o'clock. And then right now we're on our home network. That way we can share our folders between the computers. Otherwise in public it won't share those network folders. And I'm just going to skip our home group that we're using right now, so I don't want to share with our other server images that we have right now. And it's just getting everything ready for us. Here we go, we're in. I'm going to go ahead and reboot. Once we reboot, and that's how we'll know that it's all installed correctly. And I didn't put a password, so it's just automatically going to log in. And then if you want to put your product key in, you can click the start button, go to computer, go to properties. Otherwise, if it's like Windows 8 or something, you'd right click this PC, and then right here on the bottom, you could just go in here and do activation, and you can either call it in with the phone number or it'll activate it online. And if we're going to learn about our system here, one thing we want to know about is the device manager, because this is where all of our drivers are. So right here, so we would have to download all the drivers for our device. I'm not going to be doing that in this video, but you would go to your manufacturer's website and find out what drivers you need. Like in our case here, I'm using Hyper-V, so I'd probably download my Hyper-V drivers, and I would fill in for all these unknown devices. And sometimes you get other things like network adapters will say they're unknown and that kind of thing. And if you want to know more about your system, there is a command. It's called, it's msinfo32. And then in here you can find out all sorts of things about your computer. This is a server, so it's going to have a lot of different resources than you might see on a regular machine, but of course we did set it up with the 2 gigs of memory, so it's showing that right there. It'll always show just a little bit less because it does it by bits, not by the base 10 decimal system. And we could find out every single thing about our system right there. And when we initially set it up, see, here's my computer name right here. And then if you want to know about our networking setup, we go to Network and Internet under our control panel, and Network and Sharing Center. And here you can go, and if you go under Change Adapter Settings, you can right click on our actual adapters here. Right now I'm using Ethernet connection, and right under here the TCP IPv4 is the one I usually check first. And if you're using a regular computer just at home, most of the time this is all set to automatic. Otherwise, you're going to be setting up your own network addresses that you're going to put in here to connect to your home domain where you want to get all your information from your business and whatnot. And then we'll get out of here and go back to our Network and Sharing Center. So basically, this is our network name here. We can check out our home group or our name of our work group if we go to this PC. It's going to be right here. It's computer. So you right click computer, go to properties, just like we did from the start button, and see my work group is just called work group. It's just a generic one right now. Now I originally did home network, but if you're installing this not at home, you would definitely click the public network. So if you look at my settings here, we'll go to control panel, network and internet, network and sharing center. You can actually through a PowerShell command, you can change that from public to private, and there are a few options you can do to change how your networks are handled too. So like right now mine says home network. See, I can change it again. I can say, no, I don't want it to be a home network. I want it to be a public network. Which public is the most secure. Sometimes you have to use the work network. So there we go. See, it says public network now. So right here, you want to go to our main folder, and you'll see we basically had 40 gigs to start off with, and it took almost 10 to install Windows here.